And then it says you're now live. So, hey guys, this is Paul, and I got a very special guest with me here. But before I introduce him, I just want to log in and make sure we are live in the group, which we are. So,
Okay.
hey, what's up, HBA Freedom Crusaders? This is Paul, as I mentioned, and this is another interview with one of our upcoming live, in person, talented, inspiring, motivating, life changing speakers that's going to be speaking at Freedom Fest here in, oh my gosh, we're like 3 weeks away. So, as you may have caught a week or so ago, when I interviewed Robin Williams, Mike and I thought it might be a good idea to bring some of the speakers out in a Zoom, introduce them to you in case you don't know them, pick their brain a little bit, and just talk a little bit about freedom and what's going to be going down at Freedom Fest. So, without any further ado, my friends, this is Mr. Booker, the Freedom Cooker Williams.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Paul. Well, let's go.
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm so good, Paul. I'll marry myself. I'm good, man. I ain't got no complaints.
How long we known each other?
Uh, I know it's been at least, I would say 9 years.
9 years.
At least nine.
Yeah, I remember seeing your name for a long time before I like knew you really well. Like I'd see you on Facebook and I'd see you
Yeah.
on an email. I'd see your email somewhere. And over the years, the more I've heard you speak, and then I got to meet you and Linda in person
Yes.
last year. Man, I've just my love for you has just grown. There's no limit to it, man. I just appreciate you, your spirit. If you guys don't know or haven't tuned in to the Grow Rich Mastermind call that we do every day, Monday through
Mhm.
Friday, Booker, he's been on that call for a long time, and he speaks on that
Yes.
call all the time. He's super motivating and inspiring. And I could probably this is not about me. Paul, this is not about you. You need to stop talking.
Calm
Let
down,
Booker
Paul.
come out.
Calm down.
But man, when I start talking about you, like I could talk for an hour about all the good things. So I won't tell your story, but
Okay.
I will just say one thing that I really admire about Booker that's not necessarily business related. For a long time, Booker has been a leader in gathering people from his local community and
Mhm.
going out once a week to feed the homeless. Right? That's they're actually homeless people. Tell us a little bit about that real quick. Like, what is that exactly what you do there?
Yes, what we do, Paul, is on Saturday mornings, we go out and we set up, of course, in front of the church, and we have tables there. We have bread, we have chef items, and we just talk to the people. And it's been coming up on 4 years, and we feed about, now it's about 40 to 50 families every week.
Wow.
And the people, that's what it's all about, Paul. Besides the money, it's about really just helping people. Because one thing my mother always told me is when you have your fist balled up like this, I mean, you can knock somebody out with it, but when it's not balled up, Paul, there's nothing coming in and there's nothing going out. So, Paul, I give back a lot, and that's what I do because I love it, and it just warms my heart when I see people. They come in and they say, you fed my family for 3 years, and that's what
Mm,
it's about, Paul.
wow. And you organized that, right? Like you said, "Hey, let's do this," and you kind of got people together and led the
Yes,
charge.
yeah, actually, it was organized by the preacher, and then he kind of handed over to me, and which that was fine. I love it. I love doing it. But when he handed over to me, it was people. They were sporadically coming, but now we have the same group over time, and now we have volunteers that's coming to help us.
Mm,
Because Paul, I had to get Rosetta Stone because I ain't know Spanish. We have a lot of Hispanic people coming out there, but now we have a large Hispanic community are just getting fed because it was one guy that we met there, man, and he started bringing people, and he said, "Amigo, can I connect with you?" And I said, "That's fine, because the more people we feed, the more better people they are, because a lot of things, a lot of reasons why people have The problems, Paul, is financial, and they trying to feed their family. They good people, but when you desperate, you're gonna do what you got to do. So
Yeah.
we relieved a lot of that pressure, man. And I'm gonna tell you, it's so good when we see them out and about, just going shopping at the mall and people they recognize us, and some of them can't even speak English, so they were like, "Oh, Mr. Booker, amigo." I said, "Hey, what's up?" Hola. I mean, it's good. It's good, man.
Well, I just again want to thank you for doing that. It always inspires me when I hear you talking about it. And maybe I need to expand my circle, but you're the only person I know that does something like that. Literally the only person I know that does something like that. So thank you for being such a great example there. And I
This
see
is
we got a lot of people tuning in, guys. So say hello below. The more you comment, the more people in the community will see this. So that's a selfish reason. But hey, we want to
Hey,
hear from you
everybody.
too. So we got Bill Rizlov in the house. Hey, Bill. We got
So, Bill,
Kevin Cook, Kevin Coe. We got Jason Treadwell. Kevin says, Booker, great to see you. Gail
yes.
Kendig. What's up, Gail? Booker, you know
Hey, what's
Gail.
up, Dale?
You know Gail.
Oh, my liver.
Oh, my liver. Hey, Darren Farley. Thanks for tuning in. Steve Canty. And yeah, so that's Darren Farley. I think I said your name. So, Booker, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about your story. I mean, we don't have, you're going to be speaking at Freedom Fest. So we don't need to go an
Yes.
hour, but just a little bit about, where you
Oh, I
started
want
and where you're at.
I give you the Cliff Notes version. Uh, Retired Navy veteran. I was in the military for 10 and a half years, served honorably. And a lot of people don't know, and I'll tell you the rest of it at Freedom Fest. But when I was in the military, I was always a leader, Paul. But it's just certain things that didn't rub me the right way. And one time they said we was gonna get deployed. I said, you know, I got a family and I'm tired of getting deployed. So what I did, Paul, my wife at the time, I told her, I said, I'm about to do some time because when I tell them I'm not going to be deployed, they're going to lock me up. I said, this is where the money is. This is the days you can come and visit me. So, Paul, what I did, I was there. I never forget it. I was on the ground. I was standing at attention and they said, the people that's deploying, you fall out and go over here. So, Paul, I didn't move. And they said, Pedalsa Williams, did you hear the order? I said, yeah, I heard the order, but I'm not going. Paul, when I said that, it was about 30 minutes later. I was in the brig, which is a jail in the military, and I was facing 30 charges and about 300 years in Leavenworth
Whoa.
because I told them I wasn't going to fight for something that I didn't believe in. I just didn't believe in it anymore. And the funny thing, Paul, when I was in the cell, I was in there with people that said that they weren't going to go. So I was in familiar territory. I didn't care about it. So it was funny, after they was in there, and then I was a corpsman, so a lot of the Marines that was in charge, I had took care of them. So when they looked, they said, "Doc, what you doing up in here?" I said, I told them I just didn't want to fight for that no more. And Paul, they didn't know they treated me so good in there, man. Because I've always took care of people, and then they give you extra snacks and stuff. And the only thing that was the hardest thing is you just couldn't get out. You just couldn't leave at night. But on Saturday, the first time my wife came up there, I had these this orange jumpsuit on, and they didn't have one that fit me, Paul. So I had a jumpsuit on, and it was about 2 feet too high. It was high waters. But I was like, and then she just laughed at it, and she was like, of course, she told me she loved me. She was like, so how long they gonna keep you in here? I said, I don't know. So Paul, it was about a year that I was locked up in there and I had to fight. And then they assigned me a public defender. And y'all, if you don't know nothing about the justice system, a public defender works with the public. They don't work on your behalf. So I had to get my own lawyer. Luckily, I had already worked home business. So I had to get my own lawyer. It was paid for. And he kept on coming up there and telling me, don't plead guilty, don't plead guilty. So what I did, Paul, I just wrote it out because I was still getting paid. So I could have been in there 2 years. I don't care, Paul. I'm like, hey, let's go.
Residual
Let's,
income, money
Daddy,
for doing nothing.
I ain't even have to do nothing but sit back and ride my time. But that the morning that I went in there, the judge, he was like, we either gonna send us Peter Officer Williams or we're gonna let him go. So Paul, I got out that morning. I had my chief, he was there. My of course my wife was there and my kids, they was there. And you know, everybody they were celebrating me, Paul. They were like, Booker, Booker, Booker. And then I took off the jumpsuit. I put in my I got on my regular clothes and I went to my dispersing, got my final check, then got paid. And then I didn't know until I went to the VA that I was a disabled veteran. I got hurt when I was in the military. So right now, because I was a disabled veteran, they send me a check every month. It's called residual income. So it wasn't a bad deal, Paul. I can't, it wasn't a bad deal, man. I can't complain, and it's never late. It comes on the first of every month. So, after I got that, got out the military, I went to Nashville, Tennessee. And the thing that was funny, I was in San Diego, but when I went to Nashville, Paul, I didn't have a coat because it was always sunny in Southern California. So I didn't have a coat, man. And they was delivering my furniture. Paul, it was a snowstorm. So we had to go to the mall and get coats. And I honestly had forgot how cold it got. I know you know about it in Idaho, but
Yeah.
down there in Nashville, it gets cold. So we got our apartment and then I said, you know what? I'm gonna ride this out. I done did 10 and a half years. So for the first year or two, I was with a company. I know you say don't mention the company names, but it was a phone company. Paul, what I would do every single day, I would be in my office and I had this headset on. I was making calls and I was getting referrals for people. Paul, I did that for about 4 years. And that's when I had made up to like $10,000 a month. And this was right from the house. And so when the company went under, I looked at my wife. I said, baby, I'm gonna have to get a job. And I honestly, Paul, in my mind, I had forgot what a job application looked like. So what I did, I was still in Nashville. So got up there and it was this company, it was a call center. And the funny thing about this, Paul, at the call center, they said that you don't have to make outbound calls, they're gonna call you. So you put this headset on and then you read the script. But what they did, they said, they were selling like little trinkets, and they said they were selling garbage bags that were made by blind veterans. Paul, I'm a veteran, and I know it's no blind veteran gonna make no garbage bags. So I did that for about 2 weeks, and I told them, I said, you know what? It's just not in me to be lying to people, man.
Yeah.
Paul, I couldn't do it. So I got out of there, and we ended up moving here to Texas. And then, the job I had at the time was tech support, and which that was fine. But once again, it was a call center, Paul. That's what me and you have in common. At a call center, they watch your every single move.
Yeah.
I mean, every second it has to be accounted for. If you're off the phone, hey, you going everything all right? Everything all right? If you're on the phone too long with a customer, hey, is everything all right? I'm like, you hired me to do customer service, and then when I do it, I'm punished for it. So
Yep.
what I did, Paul, luckily I was talking to one of the guys in the call center, and he said, hey man, I got something I want you to check out. Now, I've been in sales a long time, and I knew it was sales, Paul. I said, all right, what I got to do? So, we went over to his house, and him and his wife, they was doing well. And I was like, I said, I don't need you to show me. I didn't even know they had a comp plan, Paul. Only thing I knew is if I did the work, I was going to get paid. So what I did, Paul, he said, only thing you have to do is you bring your friends over here and we'll do the rest. I said, okay, I can do that. So what I told him the same thing he told me. He said, if I bring a couple friends, we're going to get paid. So, Paul, the first time I had 4 people in the car. They said, what it's about? I say, I don't know. We'll see when he get there. So out of, out of the 4 people that came over there, it was 3 of them that signed up. And I said, this is what we're going to do. I said, next week, I want each one of y'all to bring a friend. So out of those 3, they brought three more friends. And then they came over there and I told them to say the same thing. I said, don't tell them nothing because we didn't know nothing, Paul. So what they did, they brought them over there and it was three of those that signed up. And then the next week, we did the same thing, Paul. And in that business, we had it was about 7,000 people that came from that. And Paul, we didn't know what we was doing. Only thing we was doing is we would pick them up and just the guy done the presentation. And when they sign up, they will pay us. I'm like, this is a pretty cool deal. Oh, we was having barbecues and everything. We just made thing. I like to have fun, man. Well, I couldn't tell them nothing because I didn't know nothing. Only thing I know is they gonna pay me a check. That's it. I didn't even know they had a comp plan, man.
Oh,
So
I did the opposite of you, which is why it took me a lot longer to make money. But we were selling fuel additives and I
mhm,
wanted to make sure that they worked. So my
yes.
wife still teases me about this. She says, "You're so analytical. You're way too analytical." We went out and we hired a scientist to come and do what's called a carbon mass balance test on the exhaust because we wanted to know like
Mhm.
see, I didn't make much money in that business. I knew too much. I knew too much. I should have
That's
done
it.
what you did, which is I don't know. I don't know nothing. It's just looking good, man. Come check it out, you know?
That's it.
So
And
anyway.
the guy that showed it to me, he was like, "Book, I'm gonna tell you the secret." He said, "The more technical you get, the less money you make." He said, "If
Yes.
it's too techy, no checky."
That's good.
That's it.
If it's too techy, no checky.
No checky. So I want to check it, Paul. So I couldn't. I didn't know all about them numbers and nothing.
Oh man, I got to tell you this morning on the call yesterday, you know how Amy was talking about being overstressed and what do you do to like get rid of the anxiety and stuff.
Yes.
One thing I did today was I deleted my entire to-do list and I just said, what do I want to do? And one
Yeah.
of the things I put down was have a quality conversation with someone that I want to talk to. So thank you, Booker, for
There
helping
you
me
go.
check that item off my to-do list because this is fun. I mean, this is so much fun. And the stories that you have, I've not heard these stories for as long as I've known you. I've not heard these stories, and they're good stories. So
That's
no,
what.
no, no checky, no tech, no techie, no checky. Wait, too techie, no
No
checky.
checky.
Write that
And
down, guys. Write
too
that down.
techy, no checky. And I'll just tell you too. I'm gonna tell everybody you have to enjoy your life because before my wife passed away, we did a lot of traveling, Paul. We did a lot of stuff, and that's why I will always thank Minister Christian for that song because her last days, I used to play that "Never Give Up and Keep Moving Forward" song in the hospital so long. Even the
Mm,
nurses, they was like, "It's just something about y'all," and it's all about what you put out, Paul. It's going to come back to you, man. So you
I
have to
believe that.
enjoy your life because it's enough stress as it is.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
I agree.
no, I'm telling you, Paul, too techie, no checky.
Well, I want to say hi to Edward Trochi, who's here, Desmond Owens. We got Ann Harding. We got James Truss and Billy Montez. What's up, brother? We talked about you on the TNC today, Billy. And Robin. Hey, Robin Williams. What's going on? So, yeah.
Robin, okay.
Yeah, you know Robin. All right. Well,
Yeah.
so one other thing that I'll actually you already talked about it in your story. Like I remember on the call, Booker, you used to talk about like these people, they don't like me to yell while I'm on the call, but I just like, I do it
Mhm.
anyway. He's like at the call center dialing into the call. And so I know you from when you were actually working in a call center and
Yes.
working, working full time on your job and part time on your fortune, like Jim Rohn said. And then I also remember when you said goodbye to that job because now you're full time on your fortune. So it's just a beautiful
Yes.
story, and I'm excited about hearing you speak at Freedom Fest. And that's one thing that I'll say is last year we got to hear you speak, and man, you lit the room on fire. As
Oh,
Mike and
yes.
I we were talking, we are like, man, Booker, he's just so dynamic and so full of value, and we got to have him speak again. So thank you for being willing to speak again this year. I wanted to ask, last year was
I'll
that
be
your
waiting on the
first
check.
Freedom? Dude, it's
Yeah,
about what you give. Look, you
that's it,
give,
Paul. That's
it'll
it.
come back to you. So
But I
this is
got
one
some
of
for you too, Paul. I
this.
picked up some gifts for you, so I'll bring them.
Oh man, I got to bring you a gift. He brought me a beautiful sign. In fact, hold on, guys. I don't know if this is gonna get rid of. Oh no, you can see my pajamas.
Yes,
I've got
that's it. That's
work
it.
clothes on top, lounge clothes on the bottom.
Hey, we
But yeah,
entrepreneurs, Paul. It don't matter.
Booker brought this to Freedom Fest for me last year. And man, I love it so much. And the fact that it came from you, like I will treasure this for the rest of my life. So thank you so much for that. Um, but tell us a little bit about your experience at Freedom Fest. Was last year was the first time you came to Freedom Fest? You showed up in person. Is that right?
Yes, that was the first one live, and the other one, I got stuck in the airport, but we
Oh,
ain't gonna
that's
talk
right.
about
The
all
year
that.
before you were virtual. He was on
Man,
his way and he
yes,
got stuck in the airport. So we live streamed him in and he's like, whatever it takes. If I have to buy myself a jet, I will be there in person next
that's
year.
it.
Right. And you made it. You made it last year.
Yeah.
So tell us why you go to Freedom Fest and like what you've received out of being there and being a part of that.
Oh, sure, Paul. The main thing is just meeting the people that you talk to on the calls because I've been on that call for, I think, about 9 or 10 years. And just to meet the people in person and to hear their stories, and they'll tell you stuff that you don't hear on the calls, and just to meet the heart of the people. And to, when last year was the first time I actually met you in person. And I said, Paul, Paul is kind of little, but it's all right.
He's
But
kind of what? Lit?
I said, Paul is kind of little, but I'm like, Paul, you talk so big on the phone, but just to meet people in person, it's on a whole nother level. But Paul, it's all about this, just the people, and just to meet Mike and Christy, and of course, that was the first time I met Mama Elizabeth in person,
Yeah.
and Amy and Minister Christian. I met Minister Christian and Rita before, and Mama Jody. But a lot of the people, just meeting them in person and hearing their stories, you connect on a whole different level. And I never will forget, Paul, we was in the airport, and we was going to get our bags, and somebody said, Booker. I said, who know me up in here, Paul? And it was Wanda Apollo, man. And that was the best thing because I was looking, and she came. I was like, Wanda? But it's definitely worth it. And just to the stories, that what got me, Paul. And I'm gonna just tell you, my wife, she just said, "Are these the people that you talk to on the phone?" I said, "Yes." She said, "These are some nice people." I said, "Yeah, I told you I was gonna have come and show you Mama Elizabeth." And we met her son, Marcus, and his wife. We sat beside them, and I'm gonna tell you, it just was a good experience. And the people, everybody was nice, and it wasn't no backbiting. Or you get to some of these, some of these meetings. I remember I was with this company. I'll tell you this quick story, Paul. I was with this company, and I used to drive from Dallas to uh, McKinney, which is about an hour and a half. And Paul, I had about 5 people with me. They call these super sellers, right? We're gonna do this training.
Hmm.
So I told them, I said, look, y'all haven't got the stuff sold that you bought the last time. So when we get there, we just gonna go in and we're not gonna buy nothing. Paul, they got out the car, and I went to park at the table buying stuff. And it was all just about, it was like a swap meet. And
Mm.
I'm like, guys, we don't use this stuff. So I said, I sell the stuff I already buy, but that's a business in itself, and these companies that
Yeah.
know it. And that's one thing I like about Freedom Fest. It's nothing to buy there. Now the parking that was different, but it's nothing to buy there, Paul. I
The-
paid $20 a day, Paul. I need my money back. But anyway, it was worth it, man. It was worth it.
Yeah, that's if you guys are just learning about Freedom Fest, obviously it's coming up here in 3 weeks, Dallas, Texas. Please go to hbafreedomfest.com if you haven't checked it out yet. Price did go up Monday, but Mike, out of the goodness of his heart, God bless him, only raised it $10. So
Okay,
he says
good job, Mike.
there's gonna be another price increase coming, and we decided to do that leading up to Freedom Fest just to help create buzz and encouragement, so that people wouldn't procrastinate. If it's something that you want to attend, obviously there's no pressure. That's one of the things that is different about this event. We're gonna
Yeah,
love you if you don't go. However, we do very, very, very highly believe that this event can help you not only build your belief and learn things that will help you create freedom in your life, but it will help you maintain freedom as you experience what Booker was talking about, which is, even if you're on live stream, by the way, because if you buy a ticket, that gets you in via the live stream. So you don't have to fly to
Mhm.
Dallas. If it's not in the cards, that's fine. Tune in on the live stream. But what happens is we know who's on the live stream and you know who's in the room. And there were many moments throughout the last event where people were walking up to the computer and chit-chatting with people on the live
Yeah.
stream. And what's really happening is there's education happening, but there's also glue and community and love and rapport and trust and this sense that, wow, like we're really all doing something great together, which is all good in and of itself. From a business side of things, and if you haven't seen the video, hbafreedomfest.com, go watch the video because we reported some numbers that we were shocked to discover as we started looking at the retention numbers within our community. But even just like intuitively, you can see that this is the case. If people know each other, if people like each other, if people love each other, if there's no, I'm better than you, there's no comparison, there's no backbiting, there's no judgment, like you were saying, if you're in a group of people like that and you feel that, odds are extremely high that you're going to want to continue to be a part of that. And the net monetary result out the bottom of that is rock solid, stable residual income, right? So, yeah, so definitely check that out, hbafreedomfest.com. Emma Joyce, hey, good to see you. Marie Douglas, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Scott Thompson, thanks for tuning in. And Monty Sandlin, you heard Monty speak
Monte,
last
oh
year and
yeah,
got to meet him.
yes.
Did Genesis, his wife, blow you away at the music night? Do you remember? Were you at the music
You know,
night? You?
I didn't go to the music night
Oh,
because I had
snap.
to come back
Okay.
and feed the people that Saturday morning.
Oh,
So
that's right. Okay.
this time I'm gonna get somebody to stand in for me, because that is one of my hardest feeding the people. So I enjoyed the day I was there. I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah. So usually we say no excuses, but if there ever was a good
Hey,
excuse,
man, I
I'd
got to feed
say,
the
man,
people,
I'd
Paul.
say I might have to accept that excuse as a thumbs up. So cool, man. So you're going to be speaking at Freedom Fest. Obviously don't tell us your whole talk, but do you have any idea or golden nuggets that you're going to be alluding? Like what can people expect? If you have anything that you want to say about that, about your portion, do you have a topic selected? And if not, it's
Yeah,
okay. All right.
it's being your authentic self.
Being your authentic self. Okay.
And it's another one, but you have to come and see it in personal live stream.
Okay,
We
so I
can't
want to
give them
ask a
everything, Paul.
I want to ask a question for the audience,
Yes.
everyone who's here live or on the replay. And you don't have to comment if you don't want to, but this is a really good thing to ask yourself. Do you feel like you can be you fully in life and business? Like, do you feel like you're a full expression of who you are, what you want to say, how you want to be? Or do you find that maybe you have some self doubt? Or do you find that maybe you're really worried about what people might think about what you might authentically have to say? And this is a good question for all of us to ask wherever
Yeah.
we're at, right? I know that there was a period in my journey where I was crippled by those thoughts. I was crippled. I could not be who I was. I could not be my authentic self. And that greatly inhibited my business growth and my business, my profitability, you might say. And so I'm excited about this topic that you're going to be talking about at Freedom Fest because I can see you thinking. What are you thinking about?
I
What's on
can
your
just
mind?
share. When I first started, Paul, I didn't have a lot of knowledge of the home business and how it worked. So what I did, instead of trying to figure everything out, I would always go and see other people, and I was bring other people to see them. But now, I mean, I'm myself. Either you take it or leave it. Because one thing about it, I know, like people say that fake it till you make it. Paul, my bills do. I can't fake nothing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they want something that's genuine. And with all these scams and all this stuff going on, they want somebody that they can genuinely connect with. That's why you see, even now, I go to Toastmasters. A lot of people don't know I go to Toastmasters because I want to be a better speaker and a better presenter. And I'm always working on how can I bring more value to people and stuff that they can generally use. versus getting up there and spewing out a lot of words. I mean, I can do that. That's fine, but they don't pay you that for Paul,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why I really think being genuine, the people that are genuine are the ones that make the most because they relatable.
Yeah.
People can't relate to you if you polish. I mean,
Yeah.
because they not polished, and sometimes people, when you live in check to check and you broke and struggling, people can't relate to making $10,000, $20,000 a month because some people never made that.
Yeah.
And you blow them out of the water, Paul, when you're talking about that. So I just tell them, just let me show you how to make extra check. Let's
Yeah.
start there, you know?
Yeah. And that's what you just said there was one of the reasons that when Mike and I started the HBA, we decided it wasn't going to be all about the money, and we weren't going to be creating a community where everyone's always talking about how much income they're making. There's other problems that come from that, but what you just mentioned is a big one too. Also on the polish thing, on one of our TNCs the other day, Monty was asking, he's like, how do I make my videos better? And Diane, the trainer, was like, what do you mean better? And he said, well, I see some videos where like all the ums and the ahs are removed and it looks really crisp and polished and clean and professional. And then he said, my target market is blue collar workers because that's where Monty came from. Monty
Yes.
was a groundskeeper. He said he thought he was just going to have to work with his hands and his back all the rest of his life. He had no idea there was this thing called residual income. Well, anyway, Monty comes in, gets it done, fires his boss like once, twice, three times, I think. You have to hear the story on that. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's his people. He wants to reach out to those people. And so part of the discussion on that mastermind was if those are your people, like don't be too polished. Don't be too polished. Because what you want to remember, I think this is a good thing to think about, is people will be saying to themselves, can I do this? That's one of the big
Yeah.
questions. Can I do this? Does
Yes.
it work? Does it work? Can I do this? And so
And
if
are you
you
gonna help me?
and are you going to help me? Yeah. And so if you can be a person that like doesn't seem like you are some sort of superhero, and leaving ums and ahs in your videos is one way to do that, but also being authentic and genuine is another way to do it, and not putting yourself up on a pedestal. That communicates unconsciously, I think. Like, yeah, like I remember one of our old mentors, I think he maybe did this on purpose a little bit. He was
Hmm.
always late. He would always dress almost like a homeless person. He would
I know what you're
always
talking
kind of
about.
pretend like he didn't know very much, but this was one of the smartest guys I've ever met. Like he was
Mhm.
genius. He was brilliant. But when he was on stage, you're sitting there thinking, man, if he can do it, if this
Yeah.
guy can do it, maybe I can do it. And that was communicating that message of belief, right? So anyway, this is fun, guys. Joshna, good to see you.
Yeah.
Chase Swift, Natasha
Hey, Paul,
Murphy. Yeah, go ahead,
let
man.
me just let me just share with you right quick. Just yesterday, I got a call from a lady. She was one of my church members. And then she said, Booker, are you really making that much? She said, you don't brag or nothing like that. I said, I'm for the common person. I mean, I got some nice suits now. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted now. But I said, I can't relate to people. And she said, do you think I can do it? Now, this lady, she's 63 and she's retired. And she said, I just want to make an extra $500 a month. I said, if you're coachable, I can teach you how to do that because I teach too, Paul, and she was like, "You seem like a really down to earth teacher," and that's the way I said. That's the way it is because you don't want nobody just getting up there, just talking at you and not showing you the way. Like a lot
Yeah.
of these systems, they do. They say, "Oh, just sign up." Then what? I mean, it's no instructions or nothing. Because I'm gonna tell you, Paul, it's been times like I was telling you. I I just I signed up in this deal and I didn't even know how we got paid, man. I'm glad we did get paid, but I didn't know. But people, they just want the genuine because they realize you got to realize too, people buy into you. And as
Yeah.
you can see right now, Paul, I don't try to polish it up. I just tell you this, Paul, when I first started making videos, a friend of mine, he said, do you know how to make videos? I said, No, and Paul, I drove down. I'm in Fort Worth. I drove to Dallas, and Paul, I didn't even know how to hold a camera. And I still got the video on YouTube today because I wanted to show people you can do it because Paul, I was holding the camera, it was facing toward me, and I'm talking, I'm going live. Mic check, mic check.
I
So
love
you
it.
don't have to be perfect doing this. You just have to do it. The
Yeah.
biggest thing is just doing it and being consistent with it.
Yeah.
And I
Doing
know,
it and
Paul, you're
doing
one of the
it and
most
doing it
consistent
and doing
persons
it.
that I've met it in a long time.
Oh
Trust and
man, I
believe.
appreciate that. You know, I got that license plate for my truck that says persist. And yesterday
Yes.
I was coming home in my other car and I hit my garage door opener and the garage door went up and I saw this little sign that said persist. And I was like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right. I love seeing that. Because that's really, you know, that's one of the big deals, you know, stick and stay, push through. So, all right, well, let's wrap this up, man. Thank you so much for the great chat. If there's someone out there watching right now who is thinking about like Freedom Fest, you know, it's coming up in 3 weeks, price is going up
Yeah.
again, and they're like, should I go? Like, should I go and should I get a virtual ticket? You know, because that's the cool thing about the internet these days is you can join us from the comfort of your own home.
Mm.
Only I will say this: if you do get a virtual ticket, make sure you actually attend the sessions. Some people buy a virtual ticket and then don't even show up. It's like, what was the point? I mean, yeah, we're thankful for the donations to feed my starving children, but you're kind of missing the deal
Yeah.
here, right? So, what would
Mhm.
be your advice? Having been to two of these, one in person, one on live stream, would you recommend it? And if so, why?
Oh, I would recommend it because you're going to get something out of that you never got. And you can't really describe it. They're just like you trying to describe chocolate over the phone. You can't describe it, Paul. You just have to get there and eat the bar. And even if you're virtual, it's worth it. It is definitely worth it. And I'm gonna tell you, just to meet some of the people, I don't just paid to that just to hang out with them, just to hear the
Yeah,
stories. But I'm gonna tell you,
yeah.
get your tickets. It's well worth the investment, and we're gonna have some fun. Paul, we're gonna tear it up.
We gonna
Freedom
tear it
Fest.
up.
Just watch.
Is it
You'll
time to
see.
rumble? Is it time to rumble? Are we gonna
Let's
rumble?
get ready, roll. I remember they used to call security on me when I was working the job, Paul.
You're like, thank you very much. I don't want to be here anyway.
There
Escort
you
me
go.
out, sir.
That's it.
uh,
That's it.
Darren Farley says, where is the link to Freedom Fest? It's
Boom.
hbafreedomfest.com. HBA as in Home Business Academy, freedomfest.com. I'll go ahead and post it in the chat after we end this as well. Nico, thanks for being here. Robin
Yeah.
says, tear it up. Fire, fire, fire. And Wanda DePaulo, we talked about you, so
What's
make
up,
sure to
Wanda?
catch the replay if you missed it. All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks again, Booker. Love you, man, and can't wait to see you and Linda in Dallas in T
Love you too,
minus
Paul.
3 weeks and counting. All
That's
right, love
it.
you guys.
We're gonna
Always go
tear it
for your
up.
dreams.
Y'all
All
be
right.
there. That's it, Paul. Go for your dreams.
Thanks, guys.
Deuces.
Have a great day. Double deuces, quadruple
Let's get the
deuces. You
grills
got
going. We're
two.
gonna have the grills too. Y'all come and get them freedom grills. All right, Paul.
All right, bye.